I made this faux live edge slab countertop the other day. I really had no idea how I was gonna make it, so I didn't do a video on it, but now that I know pretty much what the process is and what needs to be done, I'm gonna go ahead and make a video showing you how to make one of these. This one was finished in some dark stain there to kind of make it look like black walnut, and then it's got an oak, medium oak stain around the edges just to give it an effect. This was just a plain Jane piece of plywood, just like these scraps here, just plain plywood that I made into this live edge imitation slab. If you've looked at live edge cuts, you know they're very expensive, hard to find, so this is a cheap, easy way to give you that look without having to spend the money of it. You can see it's a pretty good imitation, looks pretty good, obviously not as good as the real thing, but it's real close. And this is a very easy way to do it and very cheap, so let's get to it. So the first thing you want to do is to cut your wood to the size that you need it. You do want to cut it slightly larger than whatever your desired size is, because you're going to be taking edges and pieces off. So this one, it's going to be, I wanted it to be for a 12 by 24 that it's going to cover. So I actually cut it at 14 by 30. You usually wouldn't have to go this extra long, you just go about 2 inches, but I went 6 inches too long because I'm going to taper the ends here to make it look like the end of a slab. So that's why I went the extra. Normally you just need about 1 inch to 2 inches extra larger than what you want the finished outcome to be. And then you're going to need some kind of saw. You could probably use a skill saw. I'm using this Harbor Freight double cut saw. A jigsaw would work excellent. I don't have one at this shop, so I'm just using this saw. It works very good. And we're just gonna make some cuts. You don't want straight cuts. You want them as chopped up, ununiform, horrible looking as you can possibly get. The worse they look, the better finished outcome you're gonna have. So I'm gonna make some cuts and then I'll show you what it looks like when we get done with the cuts. See there, I just cut it. I mean, it looks absolutely horrible. This is jagged and cut up as can be. That's what you want. You don't want any straight lines, no uniform. And then just when you get it cut, you want to measure, take your spot that's the narrowest and just make sure you stay within your parameters. I need it 12 inches. This one, the narrowest is 12 1/4, so I'm fine there. And my shortest length is 29. And I need to be at least 24, so I'm fine there. So I just made it. You can see it just looks horrible, just as jagged, cross marks, cut up, rough as can be. That's what you want. You don't want it to look uniform or straight at all. See, this is what it looks like after halfway through with the grinder. This is our side that we've grinded. The more you can pull this right here back and feather it, the more of a live edge look you're gonna get. So try to pull that back as much as possible. You can see here when you get into it too much that it's hard to do, but we'll sand that out, so that's not a big deal. But you can see it looks a whole lot different than this side that we haven't done anything to yet. It's looking a whole lot more like a live edge. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this piece up and then we'll sand it and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so this is what it looks like when we get both sides worked with the grinder. You can see it's feathered back some there. Rounded edges, no sharp edges that are gonna stab you or anything. We got it worked all the way around. You can see it's starting to get its look to it now and look like a live edge slab. So now we're gonna take the sander and we're gonna smooth this roughness out. Same way we did with the grinder. We're just gonna start on this side, smooth it, round it around, flip it over, do it from the back side and do the same thing. So it'll be basically the same process with the grinder, only with the sander. This is what it looks like after I got half of it sanded. You can see it took a lot of our wheel marks from our grinder out. We want to leave a little bit of them just so it does give it a roughness and kind of a cut look to it. So it's not completely smooth and uniform, but you can tell from the jagged cuts we began with, it's became a long way and looks a lot better. So you can see this side, haven't sanded it at all. It's still pulpy and rough looking. We did sand the whole top, so I'm gonna go ahead and sand that other side, and then we'll be ready to start painting it. Here is our finished sanded product. You can see that the layers in the plywood give layers and depth to your edge there. Really helps the effect. I forgot to mention, I'm using 1/2 inch plywood just because that's what I had laying around. If you used a thicker plywood or a thicker board, you know, 3/4 inch, you could get even more of an edge there and it would create even a more dramatic effect. This is just what I had, so it's what I'm using, and I'm using it over short distance, so it'll be strong enough for what I want. If you're doing a big piece, you would definitely want something thicker so it wouldn't bow. I forgot to mention I'm using 80 grit sandpaper to sand this. If you really wanted a smooth finish and you wanted to smooth this up some more, you could take a Dremel tool with a barrel sander bit and actually barrel sand that and get it a lot smoother. I want a little bit of roughness to it though. I just mainly want to get the edges off of it so it's not poking you. This one I'm going to take my torch and I'm going to go along and burn the edges to really darken them up to give it more character. So this is what it looked like. I charred it really good, got it good and black for the color I'm wanting. If you wanted to do your faux wood, this is what it would look like. This is the look we've got now. I like it, so we're just gonna clear it. When you're doing the faux wood, you can take your grinder and turn it up edgewise and actually just go through here randomly on the edge of the grinder wheel, and it'll put you some age cracks in it. And since I used sanded plywood, this didn't have any knots in it. Unsanded plywood would have your natural knots and stuff, but it didn't have any. So I just took the corner of my wheel and went in there and made some knots in the plywood too, just to give it more character.